Да, так некронов и не добавили. Ну, дайте поиграть. Хотя бы посмотреть. Не, ну смотри, если тебе так очень надо некронов, ты можешь пойти в Last Stand, купить за деньги некронского... Некронлорд там, по-моему, да? Там еще и Тау есть, Тау Командер. И бегать вот это вот, что-то вроде кастомки. Ластстендовый. Что я делаю? Почему я зашел? Ладно, фиг с ним. Посмотрим, что-то может поиграть пойдет. Не может быть. Вот дела. Ни у кого такого нет. Никогда такого не было, и вот опять, да? А берсеркер, по идее, меня отпиздит. Потому что он играет 1 на 1. Я, по-моему, у него там под 2000 рейтинга. Ну, я, в принципе, зашел это. Оставь надежду всяк сюда входящая ситуация. Так, еще раз, что я делаю? Я иду вперед плагом, а этими мужиками я бегу капить лево. Здрасте. Александр Логинов. Кстати, обновляю, значит, информацию по текущему состоянию. Через час договорились с Иникурой и Атласом обозревать патч. Край отказался от этого мероприятия, поэтому, скорее всего, ну, пока что, типа, запланировано, что вот втроем мы, значит, будем этим заниматься. Они не Кура немец, Атлас американец. Я буду держать напругу своим Оксфордом. Ну, у меня типа задача не самая сложная. Так, а что мне с ними делать-то? Типа я не могу с ними мансить тут. Он будет капить. Мне кажется, он сейчас на гены просто пойдет, да? Интересно, достанет до них? Блять, перераскладывается.
For the slaves of heresy. Yes! Your forces obey you. Power is always needed. Summon the heretics. Grenades for march. Infect the galaxy. Your units fulfill your command. Among you shall rise. We will yet triumph today. We move. We grow in power and position. Who dies together? War without end. Moving to pestilence and claim your targets. What? To a stronger position. And going forward, I spread contagion. Grenades spread hard. I see the node. Requisition point. Do not lose us that power node. Forth more servants of the dark gods. Your forces obey you. Name your target. You believe our joys are great. Grenades ready. Shall we?
Ну что там будет? Разербэк, скорее всего, скоро, да? Либо разербэк, либо драт. Но у меня есть возможность выйти в метку Длинча. В принципе, меня техника не особо пугает. Я АСМ так и не увидел. Это, наверное, даже плохо для меня. Так, если я сейчас иксану, он не сможет кинуть мне гранату. А СМ есть. О, я молясь завтыкал. О, это хороший прыжок для меня. Потому что они сейчас получат сопротивление. Подавление, в смысле. Блять, а чем меня здесь убило-то? Не, зашел вообще просто кнопки понажимать. Я на самом деле жду 45 минут. Я надеюсь, это шотблокер.
One of our generators is under attack. Protection insufficient. You have lost the generator. Run with your emperor, brother.
Let fly! There is no glory. We have to prove ourselves. Today.
Who among you shall rise? Name your target. The power known as ours.
We have to prove ourselves.
Take it. No matter the
Grow in power and possession.
prepare the infection. You give ground to the enemy. Fight harder.
Модельку, если удастся отжать, уже хорошо будет. Ну еще удар. Не отжал.
You are losing us a victory point. We move for the glory of peace.
Stop them!
We will revel later. To battles.
Я запофинговал собственного дреда. Надо было латеров делать.
Who dies today? Then. Fire! Who dies to your target? We move. Chaos space fire. Offend me. Chaos space hunt and destroy. Do not lose us that power knows. Who dies today? Start to give ground to the enemy. Fight harder. To ruin. What? The Emperor's
Я не успею убить.
Your mind is not so great. Who dies today?
Сейчас там предатор уже скоро будет. Мне надо еще один сетап отряд. Здесь выдавать ласку.
Position point spotted. March.
Who among you shall
There is no victory in pointless defeat.
Да ладно, здесь, наверное, уже все, да? У меня герой был не в позиции, я не мог здесь драться вообще. Ладно. Ой, игра вообще безнадёга. Я дреда зря сделал, дред вообще ничего не сделал. Сбашил один генератор, надо было делать леттеров. Да, это даже не близко. В том-то и дело, что я просто терял постоянно. Типа, чем дальше, тем хуже. А, стоп, там был 1 на 1 какой-то. New player. Ну, наверное, new player это плохо, да? Согласен. А против терминаторов надо Джона Коннора строить. Я попробую в одних еретиков сыграть. И в один ген надо сыграть. Где враг? Он кто вообще? СМ. В домик полезет. Пробледил модельку, ну что за? Он меня 2 раза, да, пробледит модельку. Он меня еще пробледил модельку. Ну, это пиздец. 150... Минус 150 сейчас мы видим. А, нет, стоп, они же дешевле здесь. Минус 120. Считай, меня генератор распушил. Юноша. У него есть хил. У меня должен был быть все это время один генератор. Я не сделал вот этот один генератор.
Scream to be heard, market in blood and fire! Scream!
У меня нет чемпиона здесь по какой-то причине.
Who died for the glory? Scream to a stronger position. Dogs of the false excellence. The requisition point is slipping away. Make them pay for this assault.
Mine is the will of the dark. Yes, to battle.
There is no glory in pointless defeat.
Он потерял модельку.
Take me to them.
Все видели? Модельку потерял Сэм.
Forces obey you. Your forces obey you.
О, у него advanced таргетинг.
No blow will go unanswered. Your units fulfill your command. Smash him this dirge and despair. Never attack. Coming from heretics. The path to ruin. The path to ruin.
The key to victory.
Summon the heretics. More servants of the dark gods. We may yet triumph today. This quiet Slanesh is with us, and Slanesh sings through us. You are losing this position. Who dies?
Take me to battle.
Moving to the front. Who dies today? Chaos Space Market. Chaos Space. We move, hunt, and destroy. This quiet Chaos Space. They hear their doom approaching. They hear their doom approaching. I am
Chaos Space.
Chaos Space.
Break fire upon us and we shall return it!
Open fire! The path to ruin. The path to ruin. We move. Who we move? Hunt and destroy. Fire and blood! Slanesh is here. The Emperor's not The Slanesh is here. Smash it! What?
Mine is the will. Take me to them.
The Emperor's not. The Emperor's not.
Return fire!
We may yet triumph today. Loyal to the death fire!
Mine is the
This quiet
challenge.
one who stands at victory point.
Я нажал килзовик, но получил в это время стан. Ага. Понял.
Forces obey you. Summon the heretics. Our temple's dark majesty grows with our power. One of our generators is under attack. Our sounds cannot be denied. You have lost a generator. This quiet obeys. They hear their doom approaching. They hear their doom approaching. They hear their doom approaching. Hear this dirge and despair. None shall survive meeting me. One of our generators is under attack. You give ground to the enemy. Fight harder.
We are eager to prove ourselves.
Chaos there. Your strength is restored. This quiet obeys Slanesh. Your forces obey you. Give me a challenge. Give me a challenge. None shall survive meeting me. Your units fulfill your command. Give me a challenge. Those who resist the dark gods, who are merciless of your dream weight. None shall survive meeting me. We have 200 points.
Я не хочу играть в потрясающую игру, где ты бежишь вперед, от тебя вот это вот постреливают из-за угла. Потрясающая игра, очень нравится. Еще лучше, да, это когда ты бежишь на кучу сетап-отрядов. Это прям вообще максимально восхитительная игра. Ну, тут, конечно, в предыдущей это было что-то с чем-то. Я жму с лордом Kill the Week, а мне апотекарий дает стан с кастом болтера. Я теряю героя в начале. Причем я думаю, что он ждал этого момента. Он на самом деле ждал. Когда, типа, на замахе Kill the Week. Ну, то есть там понятно, когда я буду его жать. Вообще Kill the Week это самая, наверное, очевидная способность в игре. Поэтому я был переигран в предыдущей. Блин, Initial Mink Олив. Это что? Кто это? Это же ликтор, правильно? Тенса Троян. Надо брать. 23 минуты. Что такое Алексис? Кажется, я видел кого-то такого. Ладно, в общем, будем считать, что это хороший игрок. Ладно, я, наверное, тогда не буду уже свою игру играть. Надо что-то покастить, чтобы просто поговорить. А размять, значит, речевой аппарат. Initial Mink Олив. Да, ликтор. Апа. Троян Тенса. Я, между прочим, даже разбор над... как это называется в школе? Работа над ошибками у меня была проведена. Только, я так понимаю, что она выйдет не скоро совсем. На общее обозрение. Доброго времени суток всем любителям Dawn of War 2 Retribution двоеточие Elite пробел моде. Противостояние Трояна и Тенса на карте Ashes of Typhon. Сегодня посмотрим мы. Конечно же, их битва будет легендарной. Тенса играет 2 шута. Никаких 3 слаг. Не поддается на веяние, вот эти последние. А Троян, похоже, не будет делать 2 скаутов. Что здесь будет? Генератор. Поворнода генератор. Хотя... Неужели это 2 тактикалы против орка? 2 тактикалы? Тактикалы номер 2? Ну, судя по тому, что нет энергии, ну, вы даже поворнода. И копится реква. Ну, больше нечего делать. Только вторых тактикалов. Так, а здесь два шутана. Кноп не хочет открываться в ТСМ. Он хочет найти именно скаутов. А ну... Долго не переживаю, просто декапит в итоге реку. Тоже нормальное движение. А деньги, которые не заработает оппонент, считает, это деньги, которые ты выиграл, ресурсы, да? Так что вместо убийства моделек можно вполне себе и экономически душить противника, лишая его ресурсов. Здесь быстрые бигшута. Да, это вторые тактикалы от Трояна. Мне вот интересно, в таком билде апотекарию какую функцию стоит выполнять? То есть изначально он милишник, да? Блин, поздно хил, здесь моделька умерла на ТСМ на первом. То есть, если у тебя два отряда тактикалов, ты хочешь... А, подождите, один отряд тактикалов, все в порядке. То ты хочешь, чтобы твой апотекарий, скорее всего, выполнял функцию танка. Ну, то есть переднего фронта, скорее, да? В таком случае ты хочешь меч Сангвиния. Либо кастомайзед Штормболтер и вместе с тактикалами ходить стрелять. Ну ладно, это уже не актуально, потому что первый был отряд потерян. Я думаю, что большинство игроков бы нажало, просто давануло консид после потери тактикалов. Ну нет, мы видим, что игра продолжается. Ничего страшного не произошло. Это как бы не какой-то турнир, это не интернешнл за 30 тысяч миллиардов имперских кредитов. Это просто игра. И в этой просто игре делаются штормбои. Ой, сма тактикала на одном гене. А Тенса он прям вообще играет максимальный стандарт. Он сделал одну пачку шут, потом сделал штормов и потом добавил вторую пачку. Точнее, не пачку шут, а биг шуты. Потом догрейдил, то есть догрейдил существующие пачки. То есть там максимальный киберспорт сейчас на Тенсе. Штормы встретят скаутов, но по идее им как-то все равно. Ну, в смысле, скаутам. У них есть возможность, да? Отбрыкнуться. Главное вот сразу после прыжка не жать дробь, потому что есть... Сколько там? 3 или 5 секунд, когда ты не можешь опрокинуть прыжковый отряд сразу после прыжка. По этому поводу нужно ждать с дробью. Но пока что, конечно, огромное преимущество у орка по началу игры. Но нам это еще ни о чем не говорит, потому что здесь все может перевернуться. Тем более, когда есть... Ну да, все-таки это меч Сангвиния. За кого болеем? За красивую игру. Шута Годстак. Вот видите? Только что пытался иксануть, а отряд не иксует. Вот тебе и... Троян не стал добивать. Он сломал кавер. Он сломал кавера и с мами, чтобы шуты смогли выйти, а отряд убивать не стал. Понимаете, да? Это вот называется... как бы сказать, этичная игра, да? Когда ты не пытаешься всеми способами... Бразером стак, ну да. Когда ты не пытаешься любыми средствами победить, а ты просто это... Ты просто ведешь себя как хороший человек. Нормальный, точнее, человек. Как хороший, это какая-то магия. Но я считаю, что морально-этические рамки нужно поджимать снизу. То есть достаточно не быть сволочью, чтобы быть достойным членом общества. быть каким-то там хорошим, это уже, знаете, это уже каждый сам решает. Но как не быть сволочью, я думаю, имеет представление все. Вот так, если у вас шуты застряли у оппонента, сломайте кавер и отступите. Типа не надо добивать отряд или еще что-то. В общем, у нас это... минутка морали сейчас проскочила. Так, а как он видел? Вот видите, кстати, что происходит? Не жмет сразу дробь троян, потому что не откинутся штормы. А, ну в итоге уже этот самый... Ну, там понятно было, что штормы там дико навалидят, и сложно будет выиграть что-то. Вступает Тенса. Здесь хороший прыжок от АСМ. А есть ли Purification Rights? Purification Rights нету. Ну, есть дробь, так что есть чем продолжить вот это все безобразие. АСМ переживает благодаря хилу. И апотекарий делает Purification Rights. Я прям максимально согласен с выбором. Ну и опять же, да, только момент с мечом Сангвиния. 1 на 1 у него намного больше валидность, да, он больше делает. Он дольше становится актуальным. Ой, эта граната может быть на 3 штормов. Это было близко к рипу вообще. Там, если бы эти две модельки не улетели... А, они могли запросто. Они такие вообще там. Парни, в общем... В общем, да, меч Сангвиния плохо скейлится в лейт. То есть он уже на Т2 может стать бесполезным, но в начале, особенно если ты потерял отряд, тебе нужно прямо сейчас, прямо здесь не проиграть. Поэтому ты, ну, на каком-то болтере, который на дистанции будет лучше, наверное, думать не стоит. Тут интересный такой вак-баннер мы видим. Около генераторов делает Тенса. И у Тенса, конечно, бешеное преимущество в технологиях. У него банка на половине пути. Уже... Что с тобой? А, я что-то думал, что он весь в крови измазанный, этот кноп. Он кнопка хорнит, знаете. Он что-то это... Уверовал в насилие, значится. Ну нет. Так, а чем бороться с техникой? Ну, очевидно, это мельта, да. А под мельту, скорее всего, придется сделать девастаторов с лаской, чтобы как-то бороться, потому что на какие-то другие источники антитеха, наверное, надеяться пока не стоит. Armor of Purity еще добавляет апотекарию. 25 энергии. Я вот несколько переживаю за... А, ну хотя, когда доделается Т2, в принципе, да, понимает Троян, что у него есть некоторые... Ну, то есть, если бы он играл в дреда, это единственная была бы причина сохранять каждую единичку энергии. Но я думаю, что он не будет играть в дреда, потому что он сделал еще варгир апотекарию. Скорее всего, это будет что-то дешевле, либо разербэк, если это техника, да, либо что-то, чтобы убить банку, который вот сейчас видит СМ, понимает, что ему нужен антитех, но я думаю, что там уже девастаторы в предзаказе, и вот девастаторы в предзаказе. Это просто очевидное решение, как бороться с банкой. Единственное, что есть штормы, конечно, и со штормами нужно как-то решать проблему, потому что, очевидно, единственная, самая главная, первая задача штормов — это прогнать ту самую будущую ласку из драки, чтобы технике была... Для техники была хорошая игра. Purification Rights, ASM. Пока что бились, конечно, как могли с шутанами, но я не знаю, может быть, Айсмаме стоило оставаться именно на шутанах. Так, а здесь ласка не была А, она не успела сделаться. Вот это болезненно сейчас спешл от банки. На минус модельку, и там просто треть хп вылетело с одного удара. Моих игр... Ну, пока что у меня беспросветный мрак в моих играх. Мне нужно либо оппонентов слабее, чем сейчас, с кем я играю, либо я что-то разочаровался в хаосе. Ну, я прям вообще ничего не могу. прям, ну, что-то вообще. Ну, возможно, мне придется на СМ сесть, чтобы хоть что-то иногда выигрывать. Ну, я не знаю, еще посмотрим на эту тему. Ну, пока мы тут комментируем комментаторство, наверное, я зря отвлекаюсь. Генераторы пропушил орк. Ситуация по карте. Ну, я думаю, что Тенса мог бы, наверное, даже закрепить... ну, у него и так дофига энергии. У Тенса просто все хорошо везде. Его банка нормально навоевала, сожгли все гены, банка отступила. Это та самая ситуация, когда шагатель перешел половину карты, но смог вернуться домой, понимаете? Такое случается чуть чаще, чем никогда. Ну да, мы тут помним, как бы держим в голове, что в начале игры был потерян отряд тактикалов. Это огромное преимущество. Ну, это 450, да. То есть, как бы, половина армии. Выбери послабее. Сложно кого-то выбирать, когда никто не заходит и так. Ну, короче, да. Со своими играми. Вообще, мне кажется, что я прокрастинирую от Старкрафта в DoW. Мне бы по-хорошему уже туда перебираться. Ну да ладно. Делает тег Тенса. Я бы на самом деле то же самое делал. Я думаю, что на орке закреплять преимущество стоит Т3, потому что там есть целых 2 юнита, которых ты можешь построить и выиграть игру. Это танк лутед, и это команда за остальных. Я не верю просто в нобов. Ну, конечно, ситуативно это может быть, там тра-та-та. Но вот, например, против СМА, у которого есть куча источников контроля, мне кажется, нобы не зайдут. Плюс всегда есть возможность получить плазму. А вот лутеды выглядят очень даже. Ну, а командазы просто универсальные. Ой, хорошая граната. 3-2-2 граната, но на самом деле граната зонищая. Успели ветеранские отряды доделаться. Ой, сейчас как неуловко-то вышло. Как неловко вышло. Вы видели, да? Дробь по кнопу попала и не откинула модельки, которые бежали на чарже вперед. И отряд скаутов чуть не погиб. Апотекарий пытается забороть штормов. Angel of Death решает пока проблемы. Не, ну конечно, Angel of Death это потрясающий глобал. У тебя плюс 50% хп армии, считай. Ну да, даже лучше. У тебя есть резист. Ну, в принципе, это одно и то же, да, как бы количество сустейна, количество выжимаемости увеличивается на 50%. В принципе, это в обе стороны работает. Так, и отбивается СМ. Единственный момент, что... Стоп, ладно, банка тоже убежала. Но по идее орк на... Он делает набов. Ну, я думаю, что танк бы закрывал эту игру, потому что ты прыгаешь штормами в девов, и все, ты победил. Ты просто едешь танком вперед, становишься вот здесь и ждешь, пока очки закончатся. Банка, конечно, да. Ну, я не верю в набов, но давайте смотреть, получится ли у Тенса сыграть этим юнитом. Старик без души. Старик... Я считаю, что StarCraft это игра с самым высоким скиллкапом. Не, на самом деле самый высокий скиллкап это даже Brood War. Это даже не второй StarCraft, это Brood War. Но там скиллуха заключается, она чем-то похожа на самом деле на DoW. Тем, что ты должен понимать, как юниты двигаются. То есть в StarCraft 2 практически нет проблем с движением юнитов. Там механики застревания практически нет. То есть только если ты на hold position, да, закрываешь дырку там на рампе. Да, единственный вход свой в начале игры, и все. То есть даже в Warcraft эта реализация окружения была намного больше, да, намного и больше ей пользовались. Поэтому StarCraft это, по-моему, вот максимально, ну, второй я имею в виду, второй. Это голубая мечта. Однажды научиться в это играть, так чтобы, ну, в общем, когда-нибудь. Ну и в любом случае, проблема в том, что... Ну, как не проблема, а нюанс такой, что я практически только StarCraft смотрю. Вот как вы смотрите DoW. Я, когда начал сам делать DoW, я перестал смотреть DoW вообще. Ну, я не знаю, по какой причине. Я не хочу даже гадать или там угадывать причины. Просто мне стало, слишком много дома. Я смотрю StarCraft. И хочу по этому поводу поиграть в StarCraft. Набы убьют вообще этого апотекария? Да, они убили апотекария, но какой ценой? Я считаю, что это отвратительный юнит. Набы не работают. Я говорю, что... Ой, блядь, ладно. В принципе, понятно, да? Зачем я вообще пытаюсь о чем-то спорить? Я говорю, что менее представлено, да? Менее в StarCraft представлено. А, в StarCraft можно окружать. Да ёб твою мать. Серьезно? А я не знал. Ну ладно. Тогда спасибо за информацию. Короче, что-то я сбиваюсь тут с каста.
Adding power generator. Adding power generator.
Кноп получает варгир наконец-то.
Generator operational. Generator operational.
Девы превращается в каперский юнит, как только кончается техника на карте. Но я считаю, что лучше всего набы, конечно, заходят вместе с меком, потому что там есть баф этих набов. Самая большая уязвимость набов как ультимативного юнита в том, что, ну, так же, как и огринов, что у них нет нокбэк иммюна, и они, знаете, как в мертвых душах. Там вот этот дом, который подставлен всем ветрам, да? Там дробью их откидывают, всем их откидывают. Они не могут просто стоять и драться, они могут зайти в драку и не нанести ни одного удара, потому что будут получать, ну, как бы не чейн-стан, да, но чейн-контроль. То есть заканчивается одно, начинается другое, и они валяются, и в итоге ничего не происходит. Вот если здесь был бы танк, мне кажется, было бы намного ярче, но у нас, похоже, игра как в брате первом, да, типа. С поговоркой, да, что русскому хорошо, немцу смерть. Вот я, говорит, живу для того, чтобы это опровергнуть. И здесь вот Тенса нам показывает, чтобы будет опровергать, что набы это хорошо, понятненько. Набы это классно. А, стоп, спешл шутер же была еще вот здесь в драке. Что-то я это про кноба немножечко наврал, да, был у него варгир, но спешл шутер. По идее, это дополнительный контроль, да, там есть обилка, чтобы сбить с ног. High Explosive Shells ability. Ну, скажем так, это не самый яркий варгир. Я думаю, что он даже очень... Стоп, это что такое? Слажки испугались. Апотекарий. Ну, это тот самый апотекарий Харнит, который просто бежит вперед, рубит всех. Ветеранский отряд даже не переживает Ну, бегут в них нобы. Ну, бегут и бегут. Пусть бегут неуклюже, да? На нобы по лужам. Штормы в них прыгают. Им пофигу просто. Смотрите, что происходит. Ну вот. И ради этого ты делал Т3. Чтобы вот так. Ладно, убили сержанта. А нет, сержант жив. Давайте посмотрим на юнитов СМА. Здесь есть контроль. Purification Rights. Здесь есть контроль, есть граната. Здесь есть сержант с ударом по земле. Ладно, девов мы уже не котируем, да, как бы пофигу. И ветеранский отряд. Ладно, там контроля нет. Но все остальное... Вот это может быть хорошей дракой уже для орка, но мы как бы держим в голове, что он с огромного преимущества заходил в свой Т3, а теперь он не может подраться с СМом. Он с... Ну, потому что на бы. Вот теперь он делает танк, но... Троян уже, скажем так, отдышался, он отыграл, просто время ему вернуло. Вот этот темп, который был выигран, да, преимущество в теке, все это со временем растерялось, потому что не смог закрепить орк. Потеря штормов, по сути, делает несколько беззубой армию орка. У него теряется... Ну, кстати, это интересный выбор. Assault Cannon. Странно. Ну, я бы думал даже в сторону оставить просто так. А, хотя стоп, чё, у них же не теряется силовой кулак. Я что-то я это, да, немножко затроил. Не, нормально, Assault Cannon. Когтей же там нет у таких терминаторов. Когти, по-моему, уже выдаются только у терминатор склада, который ФКшный. Который Assault терминаторы милишники профильные. С молотками. Ну, а сейчас уже вот что происходит. Еще задницей разворачивается танк. Да, и нобы проиграли Тенса игру. Я думаю, что это начало, середина и конец всех выводов, всех разглагольствований. Нобы — это плохо, понятненько. Я считаю, что... То есть теория про то, что у орка сильные юниты на Т3, которыми... Вот, будучи гвардия, ты делаешь Т3, и ты уверен в своем Т3. Ты сделаешь лемон. Лемон — это хорошо. Здесь у тебя есть командосы и есть лутед. Это вот намного ярче, чем вот нобы. Такая вот история. Третий кох. Я вообще не оценил второго коха. Во-первых, формат ужасный. Знаете, вот почему... Вот Дота вроде здоровская игра такая, да? Почему ее никто не это самое... А это слишком долгие игры. Это раз. В кохе партии длятся тоже по 40 минут. Ну, это просто слишком долго, это раз. Во-вторых, в кохе нет, знаете... Вот души там нет. Там все юниты обычные. Обыкновенные, никакой, знаете, магии, волшебства, ничего такого. И оно реально, ну, скучно выглядит. Вот я смотрю, и мне не хочется смотреть. Она некрасивая, понимаете? В Вахе есть, ну, эпик, да? Есть пафос, есть лор богатый, есть, знаете, свое желание смотреть Ваху у тебя может быть подпитано разными путями. Возможно, ты читаешь книжки, возможно, тебе нравится конкретно какая-то фракция или еще что-то. То есть вот это все. А в Кохе нет этой подвязки. И мне вообще пофигу на него, вот прям совсем. И я бы не сказал, что, кстати, в Дове мне нравится... Ну, то есть контроль точек и вот эта вся движуха, сама как бы составляющая игры, что это типа самое лучшее на свете. А, блин, понимаю. Так. Короче,
Hello.
hello, Atlas. Ini is here, yeah? Is near. Where is he?
All right, there we go. I think I fixed it.
Yes. First time loud and clear sound in Discord without options and tuning and what is it?
Hello.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
actually could not hear you. Hey, Nikra.
nice. Okay. Should we jump right in overview or some
Sure, can do.
Well, this is your show, so whatever you want to do. I'm just
Oh.
happy to be here. Been a huge fan. Appreciated all the videos.
Nice. Let me explain in stream what's happening now because people
how is
didn't announce what we wanna do today.
No problem.
Oh, sec. I need to
Take
load
your
up
time.
Inikura. Irikuna. Pardonte.
Yes.
My bad. I just can't stop. Sorry.
No problem.
I think it's very funny. Yes, it's my. One moment. I drop us in closet channel. Так.
Are we using the Imprex document on the website?
I want, in website, do we have another options? Oh, okay.
Or no, just on the document, but the order might be different. So
Oh,
Yes, I think it makes sense to use the forum post because that's publicly available.
yeah, it's
Yep.
probably
Internally, the team has its own changelog that we edit and stuff as we go through patches. But that one's usually a lot more malleable just because things come in, things come out. So what you guys see on the forum is usually the final draft of that changelog.
Yeah, it's same situation like with rules for tournaments. You can think about it whatever you want, but it's only matter what you show. It's like final versions. So we want today to review new patch and probably want to exploit some trends of how it's going and where we wanna be with this patch. Probably most exciting things it's new game mods like Hero Assault or Massive Battles. I didn't play this at all. Probably much как это big part of community same situation have same situation as me. Вот. And today we have in Discord in conversation Atlas and Inikura.
hello.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
It's probably two most wanted, most important people in elite mode. Как сказать-то? Heads, не heads. In elite mode. Вот. And should we start with Happy New Year, everyone?
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah. So, what's we have for? Yes, my Oxford is very cool, very nice.
No issues. Should we just start with the document and just go from top to bottom, and then afterwards talk a little bit about what's to come?
Yes.
I think that's a great idea.
Yes. Now we start. So
We can probably skip the first part, right? Because
Yeah, I didn't read it at all. Should we pay attention
That's fine.
to
I can
it?
just give a quick summary about it real
So
fast
we
because it doesn't have anything to do with changes. It just has to do with process.
Mhm.
I've tried to beef up this preamble section a lot more, just so people have more of an idea of what's going on, and more importantly, like what's going on in the future right now. And I've tried to also use it as a section to like kind of explain why things are in and why things are not in just yet, things like that. Another thing I wanted to add in, and I was really thankful for Newt and for Garrick, two of the really large engineers for Elite Mod and for other mods too, and Dawn War in general, was they actually managed to put in their own words into this preamble as well to help explain some of the changes about the game modes and for the audio system and all that.
Mhm.
Because I'm just one part of Elite Mod. I don't have my hands in every part of the pie. So I don't actually understand behind the scenes, the audio stuff and all that. So I was very grateful that they actually put some words in on their own behalf there. But in general, I want these preambles to give people an idea of like why things were delayed or what was going on, and more importantly, what we're looking forward to in the future. So I believe I mentioned a couple times to, like, for example, expect something to show up in another 3 months. Here's what we got kind of lined up. This is why for example, the Raven Guards team couldn't make it because there were some technical issues right now, things like that. And also, I also use it to address a bit of feedback that we get that we just can't address in this patch. One of them, for example, is that a lot of people were talking about the new player experience, and there's also a couple concerns about the ESL reporter, which I think we've already fixed right now for Nubis as well. So excellent work from him as well.
Mhm.
But other than that, that's about it. I just want the preamble to just be an area that people had kind of an idea of what's to come in the future in general, just kind of letting people know what's going on.
It's very nice for community, like in general view about what happened, and I have a special interest like me is new, and I want to play versus players, but as long as trying to do this, I just get stomp every game. And my solution for this, for players who just install the game, it's artificial intelligence, AI.
No, you've got it correct.
Bots. And I saw in test discussions, is technical discussion in official Discord. It's a branch for this this work. Should we expect any kind of new AI in future, maybe, or it's already here? I just don't know.
I think it's currently still being worked on a little bit. If I remember right, and Nikira, you might be able to correct me on this. I think Soul Eater is the only one like specifically doing AI right now.
Yes.
Yep, but it's like a very, very complicated topic, and the relic code is like all over the place, so it takes like a lot of time and a lot of effort to even get small steps.
Last time when I saw this conversation, it was like 6 months ago, if I remember right.
Yeah,
It could be. It could be.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to give a shout out to a guy called Can Crusher who is also working on some AI modifications. He's kind of retired right now, but if I understand it correctly, a lot of his work was also being used as a baseline.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's something that's on the radar. It's not something I can personally handle, and I'm hoping Soul Eater can come through for us on this. But I do think the new player experience in general is just something we need to take a look at, even within the Discords itself, just to make sure people can have a matchup with games. Like it's kind of discouraging. It just gets stomped constantly. That's not really a way to retain players. And on top of that, like not everybody wants to be ultra competitive in the first place, which I think is why there's a lot of design space for these new game modes and stuff, which we'll talk about a little bit later as well.
Yep.
This is casual way how to new players come to a game, and what happen later, it's they just want to 1v1, then they get stumped, then they go to free on free, and it's kinda death for competitive play. They didn't want back to 1v1, like a duel is not here for probably 19% of new players. It's kind of sad because new player experience complicated.
Because we don't have, because it's pretty competitive, and because we don't have any options yet to have the 1v1 mode a little bit more casual.
Probably the better things we have it's Discord, and give people opportunity to find opponents with their skill level in like
Sure, yeah.
you got us.
Message other people and ping.
Oh,
the
yeah.
roles.
It's roles in official Discord, yes. Like
Yeah.
intermediate, low, high, pro. I didn't know exactly, but get idea about this. Yes, it's all about new players. Then we have what models. It's I can show my screen in Discord for.
I'm looking at right on your stream. I'm
Okay,
good.
okay. So we can kind of be in one point at one time. Okay, then we have
You don't need to stream. We see it.
Google link, mega link. No, game models, mods. Annihilate, massive battles, assault heroes. As tourney host, my first question: do we want a tourney at new game mods?
If you guys want, I would be totally fine to watch it. Absolutely.
No,
These modes were at least designed with like being ultra competitive in mind, particularly Hero Assault in this case. But Inakira can tell you more.
Can I jump on really quick? It's probably a fun little idea, but it's probably needs a little bit more time before.
Yeah. It's surely for after Tensa tournament. I didn't want to make any tourneys before this because it's kind of messy. So
no worries. Just like give it 1 or 2 patches before the idea, so that we can kind of get rid of all oddities that might still be in there.
This probably in like late February, maybe March.
Probably March. Yeah.
March. Okay, March. Okay. What most exciting? I don't know. In these mods. If we have one tourney which will be host, what game mode will be cooler? I don't know. Better for this, for people to adjust to these mods. Hero Assault or Massive Battles, or in your opinion? As
Hero Assault could probably be a lot of
Hero
fun.
Assault.
Yeah, I think Hero Assault changes the game more than Massive Battles does. Massive Battles is part of an effort to just make it easier for people, especially those who want the population mod. So for those who don't know, there's a secondary mod to Elite that's been around for a while called a PopCap mod. And all it really does is let you just build bigger armies. It changes upkeep thresholds and things like that. Just basically the same game, but bigger. And we figured it might be easier to just roll in that kind of modification just right into the game, so you don't have to bother loading up a second mod and re-engineering it just to play that game mode, basically. So in terms of how it changes things gameplay-wise, it doesn't really change like how units operate, how anything like that operates. But for those of you who are just looking for bigger battles, that game mode is there. As for the other game mode, Hero Assault, what it does is, well, it's intended to do, is to basically, instead of having to pick a single hero, you just take all the heroes from your faction, basically, and you start with them. It's currently undergoing a current bug right now where specifically in player versus player instances is having issues loading up the extra heroes. But we think we're going to iron it out pretty shortly.
Mhm.
The game modes in
just-
general, we didn't think they'd be ready for this patch actually, but kind of in the last second, Newt in particular, the designer behind these, managed to get it all done here. So it was a big part behind the delays for why we didn't do it before Christmas and all that. And there's obviously testing and other issues and all that.
Mhm.
And the audio in particular took a lot of extra time as well. But we didn't think the game modes would be ready for this particular patch, so we're happy they managed to get in, even in a currently flawed state right now. We're taking a lot of feedback from them right now. Most of the feedback is saying a lot of the same things so far, which is good because it makes kind of making decisions a lot easier. And we hope to reiterate it on the next patch. But for now, we think it's going to be an interesting, different way to play the game. A bit more casual. I don't expect Hero Assault to be balanced in the same way that 1v1 or even 3v3 is. And we just think Massive Battles is going to be a much more interesting casual spectacle than the current 100 pop is.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. Both of the game modes are a little bit more for the casual players who just want to have a little bit of fun and experiment a little bit. It's
Yes,
not
I've been
an-
having a lot of fun with the combinations in Hero Assault, particularly with IG. I was using Bionic Eye on Lord General, for example, because you could just he
Yeah.
just drops a model and then you just reinforce it, and you just got like this uber buffed general squad now that's running around at like speed 8 and all that. It's insane actually. So I was having a lot of fun with the testing.
Yes, probably it's kind of a few week at least for get people chance to taste it and like adjust and it's probably very big change to mindset at first place where you played like 15 years for VPs for victory points, but now you it's kind of not in here, not in my brain. I just kill hero and win. That's how's that? It's
No, it's
kind of messy.
still victory points, right? If I'm not mistaken. So you
So
still
it works
want
for
to-
both victory points and for Annihilate actually. So
It's
It's still based on victory points. Yeah. You just have 3 heroes. Right now you can't actually do it in multiplayer. It's probably gonna fix next patch, but a lot of people are also just playing the mode right now, even though it's not functioning properly for the 45 pop, because the pop limit on this mode is set to 45. So a very, very small amount of maximum pop. So people need to like think more what they buy and don't just spam stuff, which can also be very interesting.
to follow up on Nikira's point right there, I actually wasn't expecting that either. Actually, I forget exactly what streams I was watching to yesterday, but they were like, I'm really like, I know it's not intended to be played like this, but this is really cool. Like it's like I gotta worry about population, all that. So I don't know if it's technically possible, but just yet. But I would be personally interested in seeing if we can keep it as like a kill team kind of mode, where it's kind of like reverse massive battles. Instead, you're operating with a very small, limited amount of squads. It might also be a little bit more casual friendly because there's just a lot less to keep track of and all that. But I was surprised by that feedback. I thought people would be a little bit more disappointing as far as like, I can't play this. It's only 50 pop or 45 pop or something. But the feedback I got so far on that was actually very positive. So it might actually stick around as its own mode.
Okay. Probably it's my first question about 200 population mod. Does it lags in 3 versus 3 like 6 pops one side, 6 pop 600 pop second side, and
Of course, it depends a little bit on your computer, but right now there are already mods out that are 500 pop instead of 200, and for most people they run fine as well. So 200 shouldn't be too much of an issue.
I agree with Nikira there.
Ну да, it's your computer.
We kept the number very conservative at 200 precisely for that reason. Like we can't assume what computer everybody is running or what connection speed they're running on.
Mhm.
So the 200 number is fairly tame. However, I would also say that at this current edition, I haven't seen very many extremely high pop engagements just yet. And the reason for that is that for now we have not accommodated for upkeep changes. So specifically, there's no upkeep changes to your current way of gathering resources right now. And what it results in is upkeep just starts to crush you once you get past like 130 population right now. So I actually have yet to see a full 200 army fielded just yet.
Mhm.
My personal best has been about 150 right now. And even that was kind of a tall order at that particular case. So I think we'll be looking to update exactly. We don't know exactly how, but some way to alter the way you gain resources to kind of boost your income, and it'll actually allow you to reach those higher populations.
Yes, it was my second question about upkeep. Probably it's should be как percent base than fixed amount or
That's sadly not possible.
Not possible?
Code-wise, Newt tried that already.
Uh-huh.
We will probably have to think about a different way to, get enough resources to actually use the entire 200 pop.
Just get more resource in 200 population mod.
Maybe. Who knows?
Mhm.
We'll see.
Yes, this is something that's going to need to take a little bit of time in Newt's lab. I'm sure you can come up with a couple ways. The only ways I've suggested so far was either just increase the base resources you get from your HQ, or, and this is an idea that already came from the Discord as well, which is upkeep has a certain threshold number. In a normal game, once you get above 30 population, for example, you pay upkeep.
Yes.
Another suggestion that came in was just say, okay, well, why don't we just raise that number to like, I forget exactly what number they suggested, but like let's just boost it to like 100 pop or something like that instead. So basically, your first 100 pop is upkeep free instead of only your first 30, and that might be another way to get it done as well. But I'm gonna let Newt cook in his lab in this stuff and see what he thinks is the best way to do it. Because, like I said, these game modes were actually not slated for this release. These guys were pushed ahead of schedule just because we were so close to it, and Newt really wanted to get it done. And so we're gonna have some refining on this one, and I think he's gonna have some very cool stuff in the next patch.
For me, as a caster, people want free versus free, but I personally didn't like it because it's kind of messy. It's too many people. I prefer game view of game like it's a duel game. It's kind of classic RTS where one mind versus mind of opponent, and it's kind of clear. And this 200 pop mod good for me, like I can so much more epic battles, many units, many deaths, all explosive.
Pretty much.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, it's really cool. Probably we should do some show matches with 200 pop, maybe in next week. Something, yes.
A little fun fact on the game modes. While being in development, originally they were tied to maps, so you would have to pick, for example, Asia Province special version to play this mode. And Newt was able to actually fix that within the last couple of days. So you are not tied to like 3v3 only for the game mode. You can also play them in 1v1 or 2v2.
Yes, and you don't need separate maps for it or anything like that, which saves a lot on the file size as well, which I was personally happy about. But with the current iteration right now, we're just looking to improve it right now. We think under the hood, it's more or less fine. And we think we can iterate on this edition of how the current game modes function as new iteratives as part of a list and all that other stuff. So right now, we're just going to be refining it, improving it, maybe even adding new ones in the future. We'll see. But I'm just very happy that Newt managed to push this stuff ahead of schedule and offer a bit more substance to this patch that was on a far tighter time schedule than we're used to.
Yep.
So
let's get a little of.
Yeah, should we go next? To
Sure.
general
Next.
changes. First question about voice lines. I cast game and just click and brother captain and librarian and enjoy these new voice lines. It's
That's
how do you how it's was done? I don't know. How you do it? How you?
Well, we have to thank a couple individuals, but the primary person specifically for our current edition right now was Garrick.
Mhm.
He has been behind the hood. He's been kind of an inventor and an innovator in general for Elite Mon right now. He also runs his own stuff and his own tests, but
Mhm.
he's been trying to crack this code for the audio and the speech codes for a long time. And we got a little bit of third-party help from the name escapes me right now. What was it? Headless Self, if I remember right. And there was some other person. Nicker, can you remember who it was?
Itosa also helped out a little bit, right? He explained a lot of Fmod things to Garrick, if I remember correctly.
Right. It was something like that. And as a result of that, Garrett kind of like blew the doors open. He was actually working on user interface innovations first. But after that, like he got this, he said, okay, this is all I need. So I'm going to get started on this stuff. And we got our first drafts like maybe a week or so, maybe 2 weeks before the patch proper came out. So like around the time of the beta, if I remember right. And after that, he figured out his own system on how he can apply several filters, try and make it sound a little differently. If I remember right, he also bases it off different variations of lines we have in the code. Like I think some of these are Chaos Rising versions that got modified, if I remember right. And after that was just guess and check. So for a couple of days, Terminators in particular were the biggest problem children of this entire bunch, but they were like crazy loud. Like 30, 40 decibels, like they would just scream at you. So I might still have the videos of that when I was like, so Garrick was like, hey, listen, here they are, put them in, let me know how they go. And like, I'm playing the game and I'm like testing it and all that. And like, you know, like you hear your Dreadnought in the library and I'm just going there going like, oh, this is cool. All right. You know, like I kind of miss Diomedes and the brother captain, but otherwise this is all right. And then the Terminators come out and everybody else is just finding them. There's like Terminators coming in. And they're like, whoa, oh, this is a bit loud, don't you think, Garrick? So we had to go like back and forth for a couple of days because this is very new stuff for Garrick and I. So like he's like trying to figure out how to balance the audio and all that other stuff. And I still don't think it's quite perfect right now, but like at some point you just got to release this stuff. And they're still a little loud in my opinion, but it's like it's so much better than when we initially got it and they were just scream at you. So
fine-tuning thing really, but it's like huge progress in general on the technical side of things. Thanks to Garrick.
Yes. Technically, this is a massive, massive overhaul, and we're going to be looking to give this treatment to a couple of other units with whatever resource we have available. I think, like for example, Chaos Terminators are using just using Havoc's lines right now. Like, so we're probably going to give Chaos Terminators their own treatment, if I remember right from what Garrick was saying. Things like that. It's also very, very interesting in what it implies in the future. Like, for example, if I remember right, Garrick was also mentioning like we can now do like announcer voices now. And that'd be very interesting to give the Automalis their own announcers, for example. Right. Yeah, exactly. Now, the downside of this is that we can't just like, especially in very new content, we can't just take old lines because they don't like fit right, even if you filter it. So we're going to be on the outlook for people who have any kind of voice who'd like to volunteer. We need to like generate voice lines, get templates together, and like kind of streamline this process that's very experimental right now. But it's very exciting stuff, and I'm very happy that we managed to get into this mod right now for this patch.
Funny things. First, my quest about new filters for voice of big boys like Brother Captain, Terminator Librarian, Dreadnought, and others. It's more lower and bass voices. It's first thing with which came on mind. It's chaos announcer and chaos terminates and kind of set of filters of chaos voice lines and all in general. And now you said probably Chaos Terminators will be next or something. No, big boys meta for change voice lines.
Yes, potentially. I specifically brought up the Chaos Terminators because I believe Garrick was talking about him himself. I'd have to check the logs in the servers to be sure.
Yeah.
But I think he mentioned those specifically so far. I think we'll get to all these at some point in the future. But Oro Malice in particular was picked because they all have a lot of units that could really use a voice line update. Plus, all these units can, for most intents and purposes, use, if not the same filter, very similar filters. So it was a lot less actual work that we needed to put in. Technically speaking, there. So, like for example, Paladins and the Terminator Librarian and like all the Terminator variants, like Grey Knight Terminators, all that. Like as far as I know, they all have like if not the exact same, like very very similar filters applied to their voice line. So you can basically have like 3 lines for one instead. So it's instead of doing it, so like Chaos Terminators need their own inflections and their own line readings and things like that. And then like let's just say we went to like Flash Gits, which is another unit that uses somebody else's lines, or like Kasserkin. Why am I always thinking about tier 3 range infantry squads right now?
It's my next question, but we covered it already.
But right, like all these would all need their own kind of work and like kind of guess and check and all that. Oro Malice is, and factions in general, not just Oro Malice, but like they all have a very similar range, a very similar set of like how their units kind of sound here. So Oro Malice is also just a very natural pick on this for right now. So that's what we settled on.
And Oro Malice is kinda poster boy for Elite Mod, because Elite Mod it's about new faction. It's the Oro Malice and kinda should be first on any changes in my opinion. And
that's true.
Yeah. Probably
I would say that's true, but at the other end, I would also say the other factions, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Space Marine lines or Chaos lines or anything like that. I think the voice actors who did them all the way back when Relic was making them did a perfectly fine job in that case. So I would have rather iterated on a faction that basically didn't have its own voice lines right now than just go in and replace some other factions lines that were serving perfectly well in this case right now. So for example, like we could have done this on like Orc lines instead, but then the question becomes like, why did you dedicate that time to Orc lines that are honestly pretty good in my opinion as is, when you could have just done Oro Malice in this case, which didn't even have their own lines just yet per se. So.
Yeah, it's kinda upper Space Marines, but it's kinda all the Terminators. It's they have no things which
Nothing unique yet.
What?
Nothing unique.
Yeah, unique.
Right.
Yeah, not unique. It's kind of another SM. Okay, but now it's really feel nice, feel cool when you hear this. It's they have unique voice lines now. It's, okay, and I personally. Orc enjoyer, orc lore, orc person view, point of view in world in Warhammer 40k, orcs beliefs and orcs voice lines. It's for me it's another art of game. It's very exciting how these voice lines could be better, because at now probably orcs is most my Google Translate help me. Elaborated. No, it's not elaborated. It's kinda child of love, most work put in orcs. Okay, it's too complicated thing to articulate it.
I think they were in fact a labor of love for the orc lines. I actually saw the video of the actor who was putting the orc lines together, and he put in a lot of excellent work on that. But in terms of the audio lines that we're doing here for Elite Mon right now, I think the priority will be for units that don't have lines just yet, or are just borrowing somebody else's lines first, and then maybe we'll think about refining other voices and stuff like that. But for now, we're taking a very utilitarian approach to it, and we're going to handle the lines that need to be handled first.
It's like new heroes like Versor Assassin have announcers voice lines for Apothecary.
Yes.
And some this kind of holes, blind spots and new units. Okay, probably we talk enough for voice lines. Should we go further?
Absolutely.
58 FPS default cartouche got removed. When patch come out, it was my weekly caps tourneys and Valhira situation with a new patch where he lagging and it's delayed matches because many people told me they have lags after patch because this change, I believe, 58 FIPS. And it's kinda... Oh boy.
We actually figured out that it's not really well. I think Yellow Monkey and Cloud figured it out, but apparently it doesn't even come from the 58 FPS cap. It comes from a port issue, like in your router system that you have to set properly so that you don't lag. But yeah,
it was a reason for lags or not? I didn't catch it.
shouldn't have been.
Shouldn't have.
But it just to be safe. Like if somebody wants it, they can put it in.
Yeah.
If they don't want to, yeah.
Flex. Flex it is.
Pretty much.
Okay, my game experience didn't change with patches at all, and it's kind of not my problem situation, but no, people ask, and we have some theories about what's going wrong with patches, and probably a few months, about months, I didn't receive any help messages, help me, it's freeze, it's lags, and blah blah blah. So I assume we good with these changes, and and next patches exterminate this problem full.
Hopefully.
Yes. Okay. Probably shortcut example. Blah blah blah. Steam launch attack. Bug fixes. Probably not. Kinda not interesting theme. What about maps? I know only one. When I came to game and saw Inikuras, I believe, loading screen with what's Харек? Ferret?
Otter?
Кто?
Oh, the otter, right?
Animal. Kinda.
Yeah, we know
yes.
which one you mean.
Okay.
It's otter in English.
Okay. Very nice to learn English while casting. Okay.
Actually, Adeptus Nubus, another team member, figured out on how to put the newer maps onto the ESL reporter as well. So you will probably be able to log them actually in tournaments and on the ladder on ESL.
It's my second question. What about new maps? It's kinda it's a big part of patch any RTS games, like new set of maps in StarCraft 2, or it's kinda one. No, in StarCraft 2 it's once per 6 months, I believe, or something else, something like this. But probably там one new map in year will be in terms of elite mode will be cool. Or ну,
Yeah. We
should we
don't
expect
actually
something? What's the
we
map situation in general?
we don't have that many map creators yet.
Uh-huh.
Some more people wanted to get into it, so we might be seeing more in the future. What really surprised us, we did a little poll on what people in the community actually want, and a lot of people said that they want new maps, which surprised us a little bit. So we kind of threw this out here as a little. It's not really a new map. It's more like a reskin, but at least you have a little new toy to play on, and then maybe we can get working on newer maps when we
Yeah,
get more
new
people on
toy
board.
probably it's most exciting in terms of new maps because what in my opinion Fetrid Folly right now it's kinda unique map with that ramp on left with 2 VPs and particularly this map have unique playstyle in and it's really big difference to compare with others maps and probably some kind of crazy solutions with terrain or как бы we don't need no more GTG G2G just stop please.
Wait, what? You don't want another GPG?
No,
No.
I don't know. But probably kind of gold situation in StarCraft, like gold minerals. Maybe points with higher resources or something like that will be refresh map experience. It's kinda crazy for first look, but it should be make a new trend of thinking about particularly this unique map and how you play in this. It's
I know what you mean. Like some of the 2v2 maps are so special because you don't have natural power farms. Or just one natural power farm. So like very unique maps, you mean, right?
yeah. Or probably the best game of year, for my opinion, were Dark Creek Unicura versus Blood Rain and Cry, where I don't remember name of map with garnison at the bottom, where plug first thing to do it's plug running to garnison for 2 VPs. It's kind of cool, and these unique moments and maps just refresh all gameplay. Вот.
My personal goal for a new map will probably be another 2v2 map or a different iteration of another 2v2 map because we don't have that many 2v2 maps that are a lot of fun to play. Like most of them are reskins, right? We have Calderas, we have median jungle cliff mines. It's like so many reskins, so probably want to do another 2v2 map in the future. But that takes like a lot of time.
GTG for 2v2. Very nice.
Yeah, pretty much.
With garnisons, without garnisons, with half of garnisons, with a third of garnisons, with quota. Yeah. Okay. Map. And I was exciting. How many people work at map? It's like one man work, or it's a team
Pretty
of.
much.
It's one man, yeah?
Pretty much. Since Swift left, Swift had like as many hours in the map builder as Vengetron and Observer slot. So he's like very
Yes.
pretty much. But since Swift is taking a long break, it's like yeah, it takes a lot of time. Like making a map takes like between 4 hours a day for like 2 weeks to like yeah, you get the idea.
I have one very exciting question about Venge. Do you pay him for hosts?
He's paying us to begin with.
He's paying us. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he keeps the lights on here.
yeah, and second follow-up question, it's Imperial Doc who type in chat 20 hours per day in global, как он там, it's general.
Yeah.
It's two people who yeah.
You know, legends say that it's the same person,
Yeah,
but
probably.
no one
Yeah.
knows.
Nice. Okay, let's go further.
Yeah, sure.
KSM,
Yes.
demonic armor reduced. Вот Chaos Orc, it's kind of one trick pony in 1v1s. It's
Teleport armor, flame
teleport
sword,
and flame sword. Probably it's kind of pay attention to and more the teleport gear. They exist.
yeah.
Heretic.
There are other options. The demon armor is pretty decent because what a lot of people forget is that it gives a lot of energy regen, so you can use your abilities way more. But yeah, at 30 power, it's like a little bit too high. We also looked at we're looking at every document people make, right? And Crisis made a document with war gear cost changes that he thinks is right, for example. He posted it in the Discord, and everyone is having a look. In the balance aspect of the team, there are like 5 or 6 people now. Atlas, correct me if I'm wrong.
I would say that's about a right number.
And so we like share all the documents that sent in the Discord server, for example, or sent in DMs and discuss them, and what seems right can be tested or go in.
Okay. It's health regeneration for Termis. It's for all Termis, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, you'll see a similar change from the Chaos version to the Grey Knight ones as well. The only ones that didn't get touched were the Space Marine ones because they're already way up at that level. In fact, the range terminators are starting at 2.5 and get an extra one when they're out of combat at a certain range. I think it's range 50 if I remember right. So that was just something to bring those terminators up to that same level because I do not believe those terminators are nearly the same impactful in the meta, at least, as the Space Marine ones were.
Yeah, HSM Terminators, for my experience, I'm plug champ enjoyer with shrine. It's only way to heal up.
Yeah, pretty much.
But if you play with not brother captain with armor of Mantia of Terra, I believe, with HP regen. It's a kinda one fight unit. You fight, then you 2 minutes at base chilling. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it should be a little bit standardized now, so that you don't need to sit in base as long, especially since the SM dummies had basically this for so long already, and yeah, it seems to be fine. They seem to perform good, so yeah.
Probably in terms of origin and sustain terms, kinda, if you're not an apothecary with tier 3 gears and Land Raider behind, you can't just put these models and enjoy the game. Because no retreat units and stuff. Okay, should we take a look to Elders? It's a new imba right now. It's a situation with menu model. It was big boy. Как он? Gopher. I don't remember which skin.
That's the Exodite Warlock
Yeah,
specifically.
it's for now. It was Orc, war boss. It was Imba. We all know cool strat with 2 boss poles, 2 boss and immune to suppress.
Yeah.
And 40.
By the way, I still hate you for casting that game.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
And now Elder is Imba. So performance. Should I investigation?
I made it a point to make sure we had those kind of summaries for
Yeah,
each
yeah.
race, so that even if you didn't know the exact changes, which is at least an idea of where we think that the faction is at for this patch, and what kind of is the reasoning for some of these changes. I thought it made more sense formatting it like that instead of putting it after every single one of those changes. So just putting it all in the front just made more sense on the format wise.
So maybe in Path of Exile, for example, before patch, developers public manifest about philosophy and what purpose they chase. And it's and patches follow up to great design, yes, like a general plan or point of view to where we want to be after this patch, and probably these annotations on or как эта штука-то как-то preamble was answered for this, but I didn't read. Yes, maybe in few words we can describe our situation about not about particular matchups or probably it's not secret that SM is overpower in one-on-one, and Elder second faction in terms of general power. It was 2 years, I believe. Besides IG from Besnoop, before we have kinda many change we want in this faction. Oh, hard.
A lot of basically a lot of small changes happened, right? So optimally, we can find a game state for everyone to enjoy playing their race and have chances against every other race, while also enjoying playing against other races. But that's probably going to take a lot more time, especially since our players, since it's such an asymmetrical game, it's very hard to keep everyone on the same opinion. Like even between high skill players, the opinions vary so much, right? One person could say SM is underpowered. The next one could say SM is overpowered. Since it's so asymmetrical, it's impossible to get everyone on the same side on that. So we try to make it as balanced as possible without upsetting too many people, while also optimally, making the game more enjoyable for everyone at the same time.
And should we point at как сказать-то crucial parts of patch? Probably what ranges is one that we have more changes compared to others. It's half of new unit now. It's setup, desetup time, will reduced and it's kinda change play styles with this
I can
unit.
go in a little bit into detail on that if you want me to.
I'm not sure we want to write как-то string by string. It's probably not a format what we have. All people can read but by themselves, but we have now opportunity to speak about more general things, what stay behind this change, what general design is kinda.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. So, if you want to start, the dedicated elder mains didn't like the rangers before because they thought that they need to buy the rangers in certain matchups even if they don't want them for the detection, right? The basic form of the rangers were basically useless because you always bought the upgrade for all the abilities. Meanwhile, the players of other races, they absolutely despised the rangers, right? No one liked rangers.
Yes.
My models are bleeding, like everyone is like complaining. So it's like a lot of people are calling Imba while other ones are calling underpowered. So that was already a little bit problematic. It probably came down to a toxic design of the unit, like very toxic behavior of the unit.
One Dark Riku smiling right now. For sure.
Yeah. So we tested this for a very long time, actually, for multiple patches with a lot of people, and basically what was kind of surprising was elder players liked the idea, while also elder haters liked the idea, which is like a good sign. Obviously the numbers need a little bit of fine-tuning over the time, right? Like next patch, maybe the cooldown is gonna go up a little bit, the damage page, like changes will probably happen a little bit more. The basic idea was to give the elders player an option to have the detection
fight
on
like a man. Face to face, not not pew 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 from 600 range. Yes, it will be nice.
Yeah, like you can get a detection unit without having to spend too many resources into them. They are a lot harder to kill in their default state now. They have fleet of foot, infiltration, and minor melee resist now, so it's way harder to punish them in the default form if you only buy them for the detection.
Yeah, it's kind of funny thing, especially for Farseer hero. She is Farseer. She must be see future, past and как настоящее? Past perfect.
And the current time.
Yes, current time. Yes, but she didn't see in these units, infiltrated units, and the only way to get proper infiltration it's rangers which must be upgraded instantly. Because
have any impact at all,
yeah.
Because default rangers were like super useless.
First thing when I came to game, it was nickname of one person in Russian Discord. Make warlocks great again, like this. Give them true sight, like insurgents, как Sergeant battle equipment upgrade with upgrade like aspirin champion in HSM. No, it was an idea, and I
Probably
didn't.
not going to happen.
Yeah, it's kinda for Dark Riku haters, for sure.
So yeah, like Guardian Warlocks used to have no detection at all, right? They
Mhm.
got the minor detection.
Yeah, minor detection kind of
So
20 units.
15. But yeah,
15.
so
Yeah,
that they don't run into mines, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
They are not supposed to be a full detection unit, because why would you ever need to buy Rangers ever again, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
So great design for elders. It's less toxic play style for units for players. I mean,
it should also enable some new builds in tier 1. Like we always saw only one Guardian, one Banshee into tier 1.5 spam, right? But since the pistols on the default Rangers actually debuff enemies to take more damage, maybe double Guardian will become a little bit more viable, so that you can like burst a lot of damage in a short time.
It's in this point artillery spot come to mind, like full support squad without
Upgrade, yeah.
probably Rangers. No, Rangers have too big shooters for not to do damage by themselves. Probably no. Okay, I got the point, and probably viewers got it too. Okay, should we move to IG? Artillery spotter squad. Hello, да.
Yes. In
So-
general, this patch is a lot smaller scale than what you
Yes.
kind of expect from other ones, but mostly that was a result of our far faster timeline on this time around.
Mhm.
We think it'll be a little bit more substantial coming in March, and so for this time around, also we were also a lot more focused on the features. In this case, the audio and the game modes and all that other stuff.
Mhm.
And we thought those would be the main draw for this kind of game, for this kind of patch right now. So the balance scale that we have this time around was fairly tame, and I have to thank Nikira for working very well within the timeline here that I had to give him on this case, and that's why you get cases like just one change or two changes in these patches and for these specific factions right now. We didn't want to rock the boat too hard on some of these factions,
Yeah.
especially those we're thinking about deeper changes or other changes down the line that need more time for consideration.
Mhm.
So this is basically just a quality of life change.
Yeah.
Spot open.
It's
And yeah, we can probably talk a little bit more in detail about IG and some other cases for the next patch.
IG, it's kinda same half toxic situation, the playstyle with tier 1 with Sent, and
Totally agree with you.
it's kinda similar to 2 or 3 shuriken platforms. Is It's like for me, like player experience, I just want to concede and forget this game when I see it. And
Yeah.
probably this disappointing play style, it's kind of I'm not sure how you is it a problem for solve, or it's just players. So should we as should you as developers как сказать, решать эту проблему, блядь?
Regarding IG, I can probably tell you something. A lot of people are not happy with how Relic implemented them, because, especially like you said, they have a very toxic nature as a army. It doesn't make any fun to play against them, but if you play them yourself, it doesn't feel like a lot of fun either. So we have been trying different things on private builds for like an eternity. We are still not sure on how to exactly fix this issue, but we are like testing stuff internally and testing different options on how to maybe fix this solution and this problem eventually. Yeah, it just needs a little bit more testing, more ideas, etc., etc.
Yeah, probably it's a field of thinking like in general ideas like suppress, set up squads, and this it feels like you так drone in the swamp when you trying to fight as melee units with versus IG or mass shuriken platforms, space elves, and it's probably not a development issue.
Yeah.
Probably, yes. Okay. Move far? I didn't know. Okay, Ordamalius.
Yes.
For me, I have one personal question about Ordamalius. When I came to game like 2 years ago, it's my second faction for play, and only one thing makes me caster rather than gamer because it's laser can turret sound. It's awful. It's ultra bad. I can't hear this sound like few
one?
minutes. Yeah, but you have to because
Yeah, you mean the last one, yeah?
last
Yeah, the
cannon
last cannon
on
tone.
Rina in tier 2
Yeah,
your debut unit, and it's ultra bad. I just can't hear the sound. That's all
Alright,
for
I
me.
guess we'll just have to nerf it out of the game then.
If
You,
it's
you know, the pro tip is to always click on hold fire so that it never shoots on its own and only shoots big.
Yeah, just rely on the little guy in the front.
Yeah. And when I came to game, it was broken, and last cannon was
Mini Predator.
accuracy bug, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was
Well, not really accuracy. It was more like the shot had a splash, a little
yeah,
splash.
splash 5
So
yes.
it was like guaranteed to hit. Yeah.
Mhm.
Which was intended.
Good times. Good
Yeah.
times.
Or
Mini
the
Predator.
That wasn't even the worst of the Rhino stuff. I remember when Rhino was a tier 1 option and you would hop in like ISTs and stuff into him. That was the best time.
tier 1 option. IG is only sent yes, half of Veniclia, half of heavy infantry, but you can repair it on field, and it's broken. Yeah, it's okay for
But
now.
at least
but,
IG doesn't have strike squads you can bring out of the Rhino in tier 1, so it's a little bit more bearable, I guess.
Yeah. It's like in general RTS or general games, when you added something, you should do it more strong for first time. Как сказать-то?
Yeah, so to get people to play it and all that, right?
Yeah. Because it's imba, it's very cool to win with new things, and then patch after patch you nerf something.
No, it's actually not a good look. Like, I mean, look at the IG Psycho, for example. He was a little bit overtuned when he came out, a little bit, and now we had to nerf him like 2 or 3 times because so many people were complaining, and now no one buys him.
Yeah, it's commanders instead of sub-commanders. It's kind of bad. Probably Librarian for Ordamalius mostly, and Librarian and Weird Boy, kind of what two sub-commanders which popular. But Vindicare Assassin with True Sight. in new
Oh,
patch. But
There's Emleby and Autark aren't too bad either, in my opinion. It's
Mhm.
mostly just the tier 1, especially the tier 1 and tier 3 subcommanders that are maybe not performing as well as they should.
Probably.
Painboy
Mhm.
and Lichte. Yeah.
I forget who, but somebody was saying we should have more tier 1 sub commanders in the game. I'll have to
Subcommander.
look that up on Discord.
In my opinion,
If they're all weak,
subcommanders.
though, like we should tune them up.
In my opinion, subcommanders should have like 200 more HP, because I'm it's just that I click the button on subcommander and I know in 2 minutes I
Regret it.
lost him. Да. Yeah, it's just that because I bet no, probably too fragile, especially Psyker. Especially, no, Vindicare has range, and it's kind of easier to not lose it. But
I guess nowadays with the detection, he's way better than he used to. Before it was really easy to ambush him. Now it's only really possible to jump him with like a jump squad. Yeah, before you could just infiltrate your scouts or operatives in mirror and like burst them down very quickly. But now you are not able to do that anymore if your opponent is paying attention.
Yeah, it's sustain issues probably. It's kind of Vindicar. It's a round unit. Round I mean, he has all
Everyone
things: regeneration, HP pool, HP pool. I mean, with upgrades probably it will be блядь, решение.
He's still relatively low impact when you get him right. His value develops over time if you keep him alive. He's nothing like a Razorback or a Dread that has immediate full impact. So his starting impact is very low. So yeah, you get the value out of him over time.
Okay, should be kind of closer to patch. Probably it exists kind of idea of what in Order Malleus we should change. You should change, I mean, in general speaking. Like we see Brother Captain is kind of not popular hero at all. Only demon hunters and some freaks play Eversor Assassin. Yes, but Brother Captain is should be like the best hero for faction, like Force Commander. It's just a big, cool, fat model for new players who
Easy to play.
yeah, easy to play. A lot of HP, a lot of dips.
With those changes, he's probably gonna be the best OM hero for this patch. We will see after this patch. It's really a very huge boost to him. His globals are already pretty good. It was mostly just his overall set lacking a little bit, but that should be, yeah, we got it now.
Probably with these changes, with Blessed Ages, it's most tankiest hero and map in game. I mean,
he's a real beast with that. Before, his damage per hit got nerfed some time ago, like 1.5 years ago, and now he's like very, very easy to, or was very easy to fight with like cheap melee unit, just swarm him. If you compare him to like his closest counterparts, Chaos Lord, for example, or the War Boss even, all of those have like an option to kinda deal with swarming melee options with Kill the Weak or Stomp. And yeah, now he can basically fight his default heretics off a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a joke when you see big boy with Termis
Getting rid by by
Armor.
heretics.
Yeah, and he with big knife, big sword, and doing nothing. It's kind of
Yep.
disappointing.
Getting beaten by peasants.
Yeah. Okay. Brother Captain is great again. We cool. Paladins with and Brother Captain should be cool because he has new voice like his homies, and now Ordo Malleus I believe will be much more popular faction. So I have another question about Purgation Squad. Probably it's most changeable. Many changes in all patches with this unit. Why? Why? Tell me, why Purgation is so complicated, I believe. Why is that? And
Atlas, that's up for you.
So purgations have gone through a lot of changes because they've had a lot of confusion exactly what they should be doing and how they should be doing it and things like that. You said you were here for I think 2 years now, but I believe even before that there was also a period of time where purgations were just straight moved into tier 2, for example, and like that was around the time when interceptors were rolling back into tier 1, and it's gone through a lot of shuffles, particularly in the early game for Order Malleus in general. Even now, I think we still have some designs that might actually have purgation squads move around again right now. But the bigger problem with purgation squads is that they're supposed to do a job, and when they don't do their job, the rest of the faction just doesn't really have an answer.
Yeah,
so in this particular case,
it's mostly interesting question. What job they should be do?
right? So people anticipate purgation squads to help you deal with just huge, fat, thick melee squads.
Yes.
These huge blobs coming your way. Because other than these guys, what you've got is you've got the impact grenades from stormtroopers. You got strikes which can fight in melee, but they're going to get easily overwhelmed. They've got a weak smite on top of them as well. Operatives, like, they can escape on their own, but they don't really help you win the fight army to army wise. And interceptors kind of suffer a lot of the same issues as strikes, only they're more expensive and they don't even have the little smite ability on top of it. So conceptually speaking, people are like, okay, well, I've got purgations now, and they're just going to flame these guys out, basically. They'll take so much damage, they'll have no choice but attrition. And even if they still keep trying to push, well, I have the ability right now, Purge by Fire. I'll just use that to slow them, and then it makes it easier to hit them with the grenades and do the knockbacks. And, eventually I'll win, basically, right? So for these last couple of patches, the incinerators just haven't been able to do that, not reliably at least, for some reason or another at this point. And in the testing, this has been really difficult to find a reliable way to get this done, because the way that suppression was being applied, it used to be applied much more naturally. Like, the weapon had a certain amount of courage damage, and if you hit it, it inflicts this damage. But the problem is that, for example, when we just set it to that way, we just set it, if you set it too high, then things just instantly suppress, for example. So it was like riding a knife's edge, and if it's too low, then it's useless because you never suppress anything. But if it's too high, then you suppress things so quickly that it just dominates the battlefield all of a sudden, basically. So we kept trying to do a couple number tweakings and all that. I tried 55, 50 on the courage damage and all that, and I was getting okay results, but I kept running into the same problem, at least in testing, which was it works fine versus squads that had 3 to 5 members, but then if you throw anything more numerous than that, like heretics or things like that, you run into the same problem, which is that it just suppressed instantly every time. And we kept trying to okay, what if we just keep playing with the numbers and all that? And eventually, I don't know if this was a suggestion or this is just a thought I had in the shower or something like that, but I was like, everyone keeps complaining that noise marines are so good, right? And that purgations are just shitty
Shitty
like
version
redheaded
of noise.
stepchild. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, well, why don't we just like, okay, like how does Noise Marines do it? And then that's how the contact effect idea came from the incinerators, right? So instead of applying the courage damage naturally,
Mhm.
they're set up in such a way that they suppress by inflicting the courage damage after a certain period of time. So the pro to that is that it's a lot more reliable on the suppression, right? You can always count on them being suppressed in 1.5 seconds, for example, right? The
Mhm.
downside is that on certain squads that, like, for example, squads that are of 6 or more members, like like a guardian squad with its leader or something like that, then they'll suppress slower than what it used to be. And but I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine because that was kind of the problem I was trying to like deal with right now. So this went through a bit of testing, and at least in the testing that we tried, like it seemed fine. It passed the eye test and all that other stuff. But we were really concerned that like maybe this is still too strong or anything like that, which is a big reason why this change was in the beta. And then the beta rolls in, and I wait for some feedback saying like this thing is busted or something like that. None of that feedback came in. I was like, okay, we've at least got the template down. Now, as far as I understand in the live build now, it has a couple of issues still. Like it still applies suppression to units that are starting to retreat, for example. Like the window on when the retreat knocks off your suppression and all that stuff is a little too tight for it right now. So I need to adjust the timings and things like that. But at least from what I can tell so far, the replays I have been seeing, it's been operating a lot more reliably. That and the ability increase for Purge by Fire has also been a huge quality of life boost for the ability as well.
About quality of life, probably only thing Purgation Squad should do every time, it's when a Heretic Squad run to Purgation Squad, they should be suppressed. Anyways,
Right.
because they purgation heretics, and heretics should be purgate.
Exactly.
Purged.
So,
Yeah.
and they also should just die a lot quicker than regular flamers too, which is kind of the reason why the distance damage is modified to go back up to 1. So you don't have to play like this weird game where like you have to like wait for your shot to get this exact point or something like that. Like you can't keep waiting on the damage. And it's also a quality of life boost because then you don't have to worry too hard about like generator bashing. Like you don't have to get like
generated my next question.
you don't have to stick your nose right in front of the generator before you can get all the goody damage in now. So
Yeah. It's
know.
it's in 1 versus 1 in dual mode. It's most big difference in tier 1 before you buy tech. Who bash more generators, and purgation is kinda answer for this, and probably in general speaking, in every race, every faction has to как сказать-то? They have only one dedicated
Power basher?
yeah. Power
Okay.
bash unit, and with or maybe like Bjornas on Slagas, or maybe it's will be upgrade Wargear for exist units. But Purgation, it seems like that, but they didn't really do this in next patch. Probably in this I saw range, and I really... Ой, как это сказать? Удивлен.
Yeah, it's
Surprised
definitely an upgrade.
by how far it's Purgate now. Probably, in my opinion, it's very nice. It's feel nice right now. Yeah.
Yes.
And
So-
another little heads up. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're good.
Mm-hmm. So,
Um,
I assume... Inikura wants to add
Yeah.
some. Yeah.
And another little heads up. A lot of the absolutely completely new changes, right? Especially the stuff that changed a lot, might not be perfect yet. There will probably be a lot or a bit of number tweaking over the time.
Mhm.
It's just so that we get the general feeling in and get more input on what works and how it works, in which direction we need to shift certain aspects of stuff. Like it could be that purgations are a little bit too strong right now or a little bit too weak, but we need to get input on that and see how they perform in live games. So it will take some time, just as a little heads up.
Yes.
I think if purgation will be a little bit stronger than they should be, it's cool. It's nice because Ordo Malleus is not popular fraction. So maybe 5 here, 5 you know, eh? And
But yes.
Ordo Malleus great again. Very
We
cool.
asked
But yes.
If we asked some other communities, though, I think a lot of people think that OM is actually overperforming quite a lot. Especially if I have a look in Trojan's Discord and see a lot of people complaining about OM. Like, it's very interesting that the opinions on OM are so split. A lot of people think the race is absolutely useless. Others think the race is absolutely OP. Like, it's hard to make good calls on that when the opinions go so far into different directions.
Probably probably Purged by Fire is a marker for should you listen to these people. Like, generally speaking, I think every squad should have at least one active ability, and this is kind of measure of skill. If you apply and use correctly in fights abilities of squads, and purgation with Purges of Fire, it's kind of skill cap. It's more, как сказать, more high. Блин.
Yes, higher skill
Yeah.
ceiling.
You can play with it. It's not just a click move units, and it should be great in this term. So you can do something with this
Yes, you mean
squad.
in comparison,
Yeah.
like how much you put into actually microing the unit to what you get out.
Yeah, and Noise Marine has their ability in disco dancing, but Purgation didn't. So it was a shitty version of Noise Marines, but now we assume Ordo Malleus great again. Okay, should we add something?
We'll see how
about-
purgations operate, but yes, we hope this set of changes makes the unit a lot more reliable, which
Yeah.
was the biggest problem they had beforehand, in that you were kind of gambling you'll get something out of them.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and go move on to orcs. Yes.
Yeah. Orcs, use your choppers. I didn't believe when I saw 40. I just I didn't believe. No, 40. It's too much, too long, too much for this. McBoy, battery pack, and stun winning duration increase. Stick bomb is great
battery-
again. Yeah.
Battery pack is such an auto buy that
Mhm.
yeah. Also, in regards to a couple of the previous org changes from the last patch, because I read a lot of that as well. Do you remember the org stuff from the last patch?
It's kind of messy for me. It's like
Oh.
Gretchen's adds Gretchen's new units and others, or
Yeah,
or
mostly
mostly
the
like
upkeep changes.
upkeep changes when people don't want buy Slaganop because it's cost too much. This one.
Yeah, it's playing into this because some people think that we have like a special hatred on orcs because they are getting nerfs twice in a row. The thing about the upkeep changes was that it's actually pretty minor over a longer time frame. Like we did some examples, and if you get like double shooter knob and slugger knob and stormboy knob, there are differences between either 36 to a maximum 100 requisition within 10 minutes of play time, which is like worth a gen. And that's like the absolutely worst case. And we basically did those also to give like a more a little bit better foundation for orgs to start changes from a more standardized point on. Like if orgs are underperforming, there are definitely going to be topics to get them in line. If they are overperforming, obviously as well. But like this, we have a foundation that is standardized to all other factions where we can go from.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
probably Ox should be compared to IG because they have kinda a similar tier 1 armies, yes, because IG has 2 surgeons and the Ox without shooters, without Slaganops is kinda glass cannon or just glass without cannon. Probably about changes about population was overhyped because now I see it was difference in all factions. So it's not just Ox problem. And personally, I didn't see kinda bad the Ox can't win or situation, So time.
Just putting it out there that the dev team doesn't have a hatred towards orgs, just to set a solid foundation and go from there, so that
Probably.
No, orcs are best, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But no, we'll keep an eye on orc performance. The orc economy you guys have been talking about right now so far has been something that's been on the mind. There's also been a couple of other units that have been talked about really quickly. Ludus was another one that was brought up a couple of times now, for example. So
we have a couple of ideas and topics that need discussion and testing. So it's not like that orcs are absolutely hated.
No, but we just don't have the time, especially when those feedback came in at the last bits here of our development and all that. So we're just pushing it on to this next patch.
Is it realized? Как сказать? Announced. I mean, when it's come out.
When is the next patch being released?
Yes.
We're anticipating it to be done in March.
March. Okay.
If we follow the same pattern, we'll have a beta probably a week or two before we plan to release it, and we'll see how the feedback works on that. Then we'll do some fine tuning, and then we're expecting it sometime in March.
Okay. So Ox, we have kinda buff stick bombers because they didn't much popular, and balance in flash, like you get most wanted war gear and put 20 requisition in the VOC. So
the 25 are not gonna kill. The 20 requisition are not gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You'll see that when we come to the poor tech marine.
And with 2 shooters, Ox army in tier 1 kinda power needed. So requisition in early game it's not problem like gens and power. So probably it's okay. So Space Marines. Так, performance. TM Melta is broken. In my opinion, it was because 30.
Especially because you can repair while shooting.
It's several reasons. All war gear anti-vehicle cost like 15 power. But Melta, it's probably one of the best anti-vehicle, and it's two-way cheap and range of fire too high, and it's kinda not fair to others faction. But yes, we have melt nerf, and I'm okay with it. But
Yeah, the refractor field is probably also getting some more looks into in the future. Because right now it's theoretically the most effective shield out there because of the accuracy debuff. So we will have to test and see some ideas about that.
yeah, we should slice TM nice and slow every patch, so people can't.
Those guys.
Yeah.
Yes. And with more frequent patches, it's also easier to do a lot more incremental changes.
Yeah.
No, I probably speak from all newbies community, which thinks Techmarine is most broken hero for new players at least. And
Just a guy with a bolter.
yeah.
Funnily enough, the thing why he's so strong on high level as well is because he's so versatile, right? He
Yeah.
has melee, he has ranged, he has anti-vehicle, he has sustain, he has buffs. Like he has everything in his kit.
Yeah.
You can do with him whatever you want to.
My
which is, like,
biggest fear in mid game it's face vehicle, and you just can't you just
Yeah.
concede.
Magic
and-
wrench button.
Yeah, but this hero by himself can kill even tier 3 units vehicle. So
kill vehicles in tier 1.
no,
He's the only hero who can kill vehicles in tier 1, if you
yeah,
think about it.
probably.
With his mind.
So it's for sure most
He's good. Say it like that.
yeah.
Mm.
And what scouts run popular? It's about population changes. So,
Yeah.
and sustain, reduce.
From the
Minus 1 HP region. Yeah, it's when I come to
region.
game, it was Blood Rain who scream on each corner about Scout Simba, nerf, and this is like fifth, как там, пятый.
I know if you read the part above that, the shotgun change got reverted from the previous patches. So it's like we went back on the shotgun damage nerf because it didn't seem to do as the thing that we planned it to do, and instead put pop and energy nerf on it.
Yes. So scouts are one of 2 units that were like just hotly debated behind the scenes. I still remember when I walked into that Discord channel and it was like 100 messages long.
Yeah.
At least everyone agreed on them.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, everyone was like, okay, yeah, scouts are too strong, but like, how do we nerf them, basically? So
the problem with
those
scouts.
changes got a lot of conversation. And the other unit that got a lot of conversation actually wasn't even mentioned on this change log, so that's something that might be in the future.
Yeah, scouts. Problem with scouts, they in every game. If like tier 3 super unit it's not balanced, it's kind of whatever. But scouts, it's first squad which you get as a Space Marine, most popular faction, and this all views at this squad. Yes, it's kind of tricky.
Actually, 3 more units in the SM roster right now that are pretty hot topics, and internal discussions. But we wanted to do it like step by step and see when Space Marines hit the right spot, so
Yeah,
that don't
yeah.
fall from the throne again.
Space
like,
Marines
there
have
are more
hot combos. Yeah.
Yeah, I must ask about Space Marine lobby in development. This like Templiers, the
We have to figure it,
Mason, they want Space Marine will be ahead, higher than other factions always.
the Space Marine lobby is definitely strong with Windy and Riku on the team.
Yeah.
But no, there are like more options, but we wanted to see
Mhm.
so that SM don't become from super strong to pretty weak all at once.
Yeah. No,
Best step.
probably Sam's it's kinda good guys in game. Like Chaos is bad guys. Sam's should be a little bit stronger because good always win, and in these terms,
Shouldn't Chaos be weak then?
yeah. Look, Chaos. We see changes all about kind of Sork and probably Aspirin Champion. It feels so good when he get range stance, range variation of Aspirin Champion. Yeah, no, but
It's
it's
more reasonable now. Like it's still
yeah,
better
it's
than
still good.
the
It's still
normal, of course.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Space Marines we done. Tyranids, it's kind of most sensitive part of game because Tyranids in Russian community it's kind of strongest lobby, I believe. They everywhere with the bugs. So Reveners, Exeter, and no more free red to Brother Captain and Chaos Lord. Yeah. Барбетка.
It's mostly because it also got changed for the entrance tunnel. For the first tunnel, it just didn't get changed for the second tunnel. Wave. So it's basically just a little, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right. It's an adjustment from something last
Yeah,
patch.
it's
It just
cool
wasn't considered
idea.
when it was first put in.
Mm-hmm. And whereas Broad, very nice. Venom Brood, it's probably most спорный.
Yeah, the
Controversial, yeah. Opinion about this upgrade, about Venom Broods.
The thing is, we don't want it to be a like a no-brainer auto buy. Right? They're not supposed to just be spammed all over the place. You still have like whippers to tie up other units. You have that AV unit that can deal with the vehicles and then still be useful. Like if I buy a less cannon, for example, and it gets the vehicle, then my less cannon is basically useless outside of capping and maybe Gen Bash. So it not being as strong as fully upgraded plasma tech should be like a given.
About last cannon situation, in most cases, if you kill vehicle, it's just you use unit for cap map or something. Probably more in another greater world, we can upgrade back. No less cannon, please. Just give me my heavy bolter back, and we cool. Is it can be done in game in general? Because I probably
yes, but very unrealistic that it's gonna happen. But it's possible.
The same question about Heroes Wargear. Like for Plug Champion, it's very cool bolter, but if you buy, no, you can't go back to this.
You can't. You can't just go back to the bolter. You can't go back to ranged at all.
Yeah. And with Knop, Commander Knop Ox.
Yep, that's
hero.
another one that's brought up a lot too.
Yeah. Is it possible? Is it? Can I hope in my dreams that it's probably? Can I expect
Oh.
this in future?
For heroes, it would need to be another war gear, right?
Ah,
So that you can go back to it after you bought a different weapon and like cost 0 requisition, 0 power. So it's theoretically possible, but again, probably not very likely because it has been like this for so long, and that people are like, yeah, you have to commit with those heroes. That's why the upgrades are stronger than other upgrades because you're stuck with it, for example.
that's
It's something we'll talk about, but yeah.
it's a kind of Space Marine tactical squad situation with the ability to change with gear.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. Caster could also do it too, yes.
Yeah, and I remember not the strongest point in IG lobby in development where Guardsmen can swap flamers to plasma in tier 2, and very upset people it was.
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, it's we tested this quite a bit internally, like the plasma flamer change. It felt kinda weird, and it was you could get like insane timing pushes with it in internal matches, so we decided to not do it for now. But theoretically, it's also a thing that could be possible, but it would definitely shake up the meta to a degree that
yes,
we are
it
not
seems too
confident
strong
yet.
because you should do choice about tier 1 strong unit or not scaling to late game. With only purpose is probably bash power with flamers, but then your whole squad is kinda useless.
Like it could be done, but it would shake up the meta to a degree that we are not comfy with.
Too big change, yes.
For now, yeah.
So about Tyranids, probably the weakest spot about it's Venom Brute. I cast today. Yesterday game where 2 packs of Venom Brute with the spitters shoot at Ordamalios units, yes, and 2 squads of Venom Brutes, and it feels they didn't have that dips what you're supposed to be, like anti-heavy infantry, like Markov Zinch HSM.
Surprised, but it's very, very close to
yeah, but it feels like probably I don't know if it's second time Venom Brute buffed. I didn't remember.
The
damage buff, I mean, for Venom Brute.
The first.
First,
They only got introduced last patch.
Yeah, yes, correct. So Tyranids are good on the Venom Brute and will be better and only buffs. No longer reduce health. Yes, so it's 10 more HP per model. 1 happy cry round. Кстати, he registered to 10 Saturn as elf, cosmic elf.
Yes.
So
probably the Bar Strangler change actually started off as a bug fix because we got reports that if you I forget the exact circumstances, but I think it's every time the Barb Strangler war gear itself gets moved around the squad, which is basically every time that model dies, it loses 10 HP, if I remember right. So we were like, okay, we should fix that because like that's really dumb. Then it becomes like super fragile if you just dies a couple times, whatever. But But we were like, it's just 10 HP on the squad. Like, is it really worth it? We're like, it's fine. Like, they could just have 10 HP. It's okay. So instead of just putting the bug fix, we're like, just screw it. Just let them have their HP.
It's not even stated anymore. Anywhere. It's basically, it was just there. It wasn't even on Codex or anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, we got to update that codex at some point, but hopefully we got people working on that.
Yeah, it seems like another quality of life change. So, in my opinion, it's most valuable changes at all. It's you shouldn't if someone call Imba like a whole faction, it's kind of okay, but this ones like purgation didn't purgate no. Why
Yes,
they
did not burn in the
exist.
name of the Emperor. Yeah.
Yeah, so quality of life, in my opinion, is most important things in all patches. So, assume we can set mostly most work in this patch. It's kind of feel for me it's
Technical
voice lines, yes, and quality life patches. No
Yes.
super big changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of those kind of quality of life stuff. Like even some small stuff like the operatives getting their hotkey changed. Like nobody really asked for that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's just like, why does it have to be all the way out there to the right? Why can't it just be on the first button?
Mhm.
You know, things like that. You know, like the spotters, like just it burns things a lot faster. It does the same damage. It just does it all up front, basically, or a lot faster. Like things like that.
Mhm.
The entire log itself is not nearly as large as our usual patches are, but we hope to kind of fix that as we adjust our timetable to go from 5 weeks to 3 months instead. So
Yep.
Yeah. I said about nothing big changes, blah blah blah, and now I saw new game mods. New
Yes.
game mods. How it's not big? It's big. It's huge.
yes,
But
and the
yeah,
new audio is also equally huge.
yes.
Also-
But those are just not balance changes, which is why the balance section is just shorter because we had less time to work on that. But
Yeah.
Garrick and Newt have been working on this stuff all the time behind the scenes, not just to
Mhm.
one patch or another patch. So
Mhm.
eventually they figure it out, they crack the code, and then they let us know and say, hey, listen, we got the stuff ready to go. We'd like to test it. Or sometimes they even say, like, we've tested already. It's ready to go. Here are the files. So
Mhm. So,
So,
we-
little teaser maybe. Oh, sorry.
we can hope for new voice lines and kind of expect it. Probably we should end wrap out, I believe.
I
Yeah.
can give you a little good note to end on, a little teaser.
Mhm.
You are familiar with the orc skin that Enlarging Cloud made a couple of patches ago, right? The fridge warpers.
Mhm.
The big warpers.
Yes.
Cloud is currently also working on another very exciting Space Marine Elite skin for the next patch. It's gonna be, he's working on a Raven Guard Space Marine Elite skin for the
Uh-huh.
next patch.
They
As a-
also will be in metal boxes in
Yeah, refrigerator.
pечка,
Space
stove, furnace, in furnace. Just put in
Yes.
furnace and we cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
just a little teaser.
Yeah.
yes, Cloud has been very hard at work on that scheme, and it just couldn't make the deadline just yet. It's very close as it is right now, but we already delayed the patch for about a week, and there were still a number of problems with the scheme that he was putting together. So we elected to just get this stuff out now.
Yeah, timing for this patch it's nearly by perfect because New Year and after New Year within few days it's feel right.
Yes,
it's
yes. But
time
look
for-
forward to
Mhm,
enlarging Cloud's work on that, and
mhm,
other more stuff in the future.
mhm. Probably I should ask about new incoming stuff, upcoming stuff, but you already answered yes. It's voice lines, skins. about maps, I'm not clear about new maps or revoke. What we have for now? What should I expect about this?
You can't sadly expect a new map for the next patch. The only thing that you can expect for the new patch is update on, not a visual update, not a gameplay update on some existing maps. Like, do you remember the 2v2 tournaments we had where the maps were like displayed wrong?
Mm.
I'm gonna look into fixing those things, but not
Ага.
real new maps.
Окей, хорошо. Так,
Yeah.
хорошо, да.
Хорошо.
Хорошо, братан. Балалайка, бабушка. Yeah. So,
But yes, it's hard to promise things this early. We're not entirely sure what it'll be in ourselves. Like we've
Mhm.
only just now even started putting a draft together.
mhm,
We have
mhm,
some leftover stuff we always carry over from the next patch, but in terms of like genuine new features that haven't been made yet, like it just depends on how fast the work can get done.
mhm. So, if you have something to add to at the end and talk to community or anything, probably we should do it now.
Only thing we can say is if any questions are there or if anyone
Oh,
like
yeah.
wants to help, go ahead, send us a direct message.
Yeah, probably.
DM, example.
Absolutely.
This
We are
one.
just hungry for voice actors right now for reasons that are pretty obvious.
Mhm,
Always looking for new talent, even in things that you think might not be related. Just if you've got something that's interesting to show, we're absolutely here to listen.
mhm.
We're always listening to the feedback in the community as well, for example. So if you guys want to say something, we're just as long as it's in the Discord and I can read it, we're good.
Give it a go. Worst case is it's not going into a patch. Best case is it's an amazing idea and everyone picks up on it. Like, just bring topics up. No one is like so set in their mind. Just bring topics up and
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
And even things that don't go into the patch, I've kept ideas and old documents and things like that. And sometimes like years later they do go back into the patches. So
Mhm.
very rarely are things just tossed away into the trash. Either it's used immediately or it's kept for later usually.
Mhm.
So
Ideas always around us, and we talk about a question and answers session, like a stream, live stream or something. Should we expect this?
Q&A.
Q&A session.
We could probably, no promises, we could probably do that before the next patch drops, right?
Mhm,
If we get
mhm.
like after doing some beta testing, like do a preview instead of a review with some Q&A.
Yeah, looks nice because huge new game mods. Probably a month will be enough for people to just to use it, to taste it and have an opinion about this.
yes.
Um,
As for the Q&A for this patch, I think we can put something together. It might not be the entire team or something like that,
Mhm.
but like I think I can put something on the schedule for that if it's a stream or otherwise.
mhm.
Community involvement in general has been something that we've been. Or I'll speak for myself on this because some people prefer to just stay behind the scenes, but
Yeah,
community involvement is something that I am taking more of an interest in.
Mhm.
I think I've even mentioned as such on the preamble when we're talking about like the Discord servers and things like that, just making sure people are kind of on the same page as to where the team is at, what we're up to, that kind of stuff. So a Q&A thing on a stream or even just a YouTube video or something like that seems like a great idea. And it's also part of the reason why I was really keen to do this after I heard that you actually had some interest in doing this, Lev.
Mhm.
So, you said, hey, listen, I want to do this review and all that. And I said, sure, that sounds like a great idea. It's not something I personally set up, but maybe we should have done it before.
But huge minus downside of this format, people kinda who didn't catch it in live can't ask question. So probably Discord is much more better platform for this because it's offline, and you shouldn't be right here right now, and
Yes.
you can think about your question, formulate to and
Mhm.
ask. So
That's a good idea.
yes,
Yes.
about this format, when I prepare to this session, I was think about Artosis Pile and Show. It's StarCraft community,
Yeah.
and
So
it's
this-
kinda combinated of talk and like a freestyle conversation and a Q&A session. Probably in greater world we can do it time after time. Probably it should be pinned with new patches because it's kind of
We will-
obvious where changes go.
Yeah, we will definitely think about something like that and probably go a little bit more into detail for that for the next bigger patch, right, Atlas? Because this
Yes.
one was only supposed to be a little Christmas gift.
Yep.
Mhm.
Just to get the team in the rhythm of things, make sure like just think of it as like more like of a recital run was how I was thinking of it in the first hand, but as always these patches always like go way out of the normal scope. I
Mhm.
wanted
Oh.
something very short, very basic, just to get the wheels moving again, sort of. But here we are.
Yeah, Atlas first real patch as balance lead.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's hope it works out, right? But as a last note, I also just want to give one last thank you to just the general players in general here. Like, we really can't do anything without the players. Like, we can all just tinker in our own labs and just screw around, I guess. But like,
Yeah.
without the players, it kind of feels hollow and all that. And the only reason I keep doing this stuff is just because I love the community. I love 40K in general.
Mhm.
Even the shysters in the community. But no, I think this is really cool. This is a great game. This is a great mod. And I'm happy to be a part of it. And I hope we have more patches to come with more cool stuff. Even the craziest ideas will hopefully one day see the light, and it'll be cool.
Mhm. Nice. If we said all what we want, we can probably in this high note close this session.
Yeah. I've had so many
Mhm.
people DM me going like, "When's Tau? When's Necrons?
Mhm.
Where's Sisters of Battle?"
Yeah,
And actually, the biggest craze lately, and you can actually see it right now in the Discord, is like people are talking about AdMech now, Adeptus Mechanicus. It's like, man, it'd be really cool if we could throw all this stuff in, but like just one step at a time, one step at a time.
Mhm.
Got to solve one problem first, and then this problem first, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can get to something that as massive as that. But for now, just work on what we've got.
Yes, baby steps, I believe it's called.
Yes.
Just one time at one thing at one time. So should we end? It's kind of
If you're happy with it,
I ask all I want, and last canon sound, it's my.
okay, all right, we'll take a look at it just for you, all right?
It will be super cool. Thanks. So, I hope we will. Как сказать-то? Блин. Okay, Google. See.
Google, my friend.
Yes.
If that's the
I
case,
know
then we're wrapping
every
this up.
language.
Thanks again.
Yes. So.
Thank you for hosting it. Thank you for the opportunity to speak
Yeah,
out. I've been a huge fan of your channel. I love watching. There's just so much Dawn of War content you're putting out lately. It's been an excellent source of replays for me too. So
Yes. Thank you for coming, for deep and explicit explanation of what happening right now in Elite Mode community. As developers, we can kinda shows in channels to discuss what happening, and probably it will be a good start to something nice in future. And so thanks for coming, and thanks for coming.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having us.
Yeah,
And a good night.
yeah, and good night.
Yes. Good night.
Окей. Э, Так. Я просто вспотел 50 раз. И я понял, что у меня чат отвалился миллион лет назад. И мне нужно это все сейчас быстренько сделать. Фух. My English is very cool and strong. Нет. It's not. По поводу вопросов, которые вы задавали в чате, мы уже побеседовали на эту тему. Все вопросы, которые у вас родились в процессе или еще где-то, спрашивайте в официальном сервере. Вот давайте я покажу. Так, где ссылку надо? Чтобы найти официальный Discord сервер, вы должны пройти на официальный сайт игры, и здесь вот кнопка Discord. Вот кнопка Discord. Вы ее нажимаете и попадаете в официальный Discord. И вот все вопросы, которые там, любой фидбэк или еще что угодно, задается. Ну, вот так он выглядит в итоге, да. Это просто ссылка типа приветствия. Кстати, здесь новая картинка. Вот, и вы сюда переходите, и, ну, я уж не знаю, где здесь конкретно. Balance discussion, strategy, streams, bug report, testing. Бам-бам-бам-бам. Ну, по идее, не, Balance Discussion — это закрытый канал. Короче, я думаю, может быть, даже просто спросить какую-то штуку для фидбэка. Вот же, комьюнити фидбэк, ё-моё. Вот, сюда заходите, значит, и бахаете, и шлепаете свои предложения, и, в общем, вообще все. Вот, все есть. А на этом мы будем заканчивать этот спич будет заканчиваться. Тему. Я, честно, несколько выдохся. Тяжело вообще, очень тяжело, без практики говорения на английском, говорить на английском. Ой, бля. И почему у меня чат отваливается? У меня, короче, уже который стрим подряд отваливается просто чат. Давайте я прочту какую-то часть. Я даже не знаю, где. Ну, я на самом деле не смотрел чат вообще. У меня мозг разрывался, когда я пытался читать. Чтобы вы поняли, я не прочел практически ни одной строчки в патче, пока говорил. И пока я слушал, я тоже не прочел ни одной строчки. Я честно пытался не терять нить. Ну, скажем так, успех был, мягко говоря, переменный. Ладно, все, чат я там обновил, оно починилось. Ну, короче, да, вот вопросы, которые вы задавали, и вот это вот все, я уже сказал, куда. Я еще У меня была паранойя, что когда чат отваливается, ну и типа никакого... ну вот тоже. Ну, короче, я да? Сказал, куда. У меня начинается паранойя, что у меня интернет упал или еще что-то. Ну, понятно, что я потом подумал, если бы у меня упал интернет, я бы я бы вывалился из Дискорда, и как бы у нас наше свидание в интернете бы прервалось, и типа это меня единственное, что успокаивало. Ну, в общем, это классная штука. Единственное, что им хост нужен с native speaker, а не я. Типа, я думаю, что там, типа, немного ума надо, чтобы сидеть задавать вопросы. Просто им надо самим это сделать. Я на самом деле, когда я предлагал и Никуре это сделать. Ну, типа, быть хостом. Чтобы... Ну, типа, у него есть ОБС, да, ему, типа, несложно сделать видео. Но получилось, как получилось. И, как бы, господа изъявили желание видеть меня в качестве хоста. Ну, собственно, ну, бля. Мне, конечно, опыт интересный. Я изнервничался весь, потом, знаете, как бы я забил уже. Думаю, ну и хер с ним. Ну да, my English is very кровать. Ну что теперь сделать? Как бы никто не умрет от того, что я буду сидеть и Google Translate переводить, поэтому нормально. Ой, все, ладно, я что-то все. У меня на самом деле силы-то остались, но вот я что-то морально я устал, поэтому я буду заканчивать на сегодня. Я, пожалуй, прямо сейчас пойду нарежу и опубликую эту куда-то запись, чтобы далеко не ходить. И это... Не, спать я точно не собираюсь. Мне еще до хера работы другой. Вот, да, спасибо, кто был. Да, там неловко получилось с чатом, но как бы в конце уже было, да. Куда слать вопросы, и вам обязательно будет ответить. Атлас, по-моему, максимально четко свою позицию объявил, что он прислушивается, он готов вообще, открыт к обратной связи. И даже если ваши предложения кажутся странными и crazy, и вообще вот это все, может быть из этого что-нибудь будет, может быть, не сразу, может быть, в другой форме, но все равно это как-нибудь да пригодится. Так что не стесняйтесь, пишите что-нибудь. Вот, а у меня все. Доброй ночи.